So what will happen is they'll announce it. It's commencement, And as soon as they announce it, you can start the music, and then you'll sing. So announcement, music, march. I was just at a commencement yesterday at the School of the Arts. It lasted 2 weeks. It was indoors. What a great school. I loved it. But 2 hours.
Welcome to Wallace Wade Stadium and Duke University's 162nd commencement. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please direct your attention to the end of the field and welcome the Duke University class of 2014. Students entering the stadium on your right are the candidates of Trinity College of Arts and Sciences. Entering on the left are the candidates from the Pratt School of Engineering. Next, the candidates from the Sanford School of Public Policy. Now the candidates from the Nicholas School of the Environment. Entering the stadium are the candidates from the Fuqua School of Business. Are the candidates from the School of Nursing. welcome the candidates from the Divinity School. Entering now are the candidates from the School of Law. Please welcome the candidates from the School of Medicine. On the left are the candidates from the graduate school. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing as we recognize the faculties of Duke University, the university administration, and the members of the Board of Trustees, followed by the members of the Platform Party. Please rise for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets bursting in every proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and of the brave?
Let us pray. Wellspring of life, in the midst of the grand sonic symphony of your creation, we praise you because morning has broken like the first morning, initiating a new beginning as the rays of the sun smile down on us. We are filled with the light of this new day as we stand in awe under the canopy of your love. On this day of sweet celebration, we participate in this sacrament of pause to pray and center down, to sit quietly and see ourselves pass by. And as we study ourselves, we recognize that we have not been alone on this educational pilgrimage, but have been surrounded and accompanied by a great cloud of human witnesses. For family and friends who are gathered here from near and far, we thank you for their financial and emotional support, encouragement, care, love, and for believing in us when we didn't believe in ourselves. For the Duke family, who established this university, and the trustees, administrators, faculty, and staff who continue the rich tradition of eruditio et religio, knowledge in service to society. We thank you for their vision, guidance, energy, commitment, research, teaching, and service. For students who began this path with us, but are not here today, we thank you for their lives. Thank you for the gift of this educational oasis we call Dear Old Duke, for the lessons learned, imaginations ignited, new ideas born, possibilities envisioned, insights sparked, friendships made, tears shed, joys shared, and service given. On this day, our cups run over, and we are indeed full in heart and mind. As we remember the past and gaze toward the horizon of our future, may we take what we have gained here and soar courageously with wings like eagles in your holy breeze. Breathe on us that we may be ignited with a fiery creativity to work toward truth, goodness, justice, and beauty, and to give back what we have been given for the common good. As we face the rising sun of this new day begun, may all whom we encounter from this day forward call us a blessing. In the name of the one who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Amen.
Please be seated. Good morning to you, class of 2014, and greetings to the parents, families, and friends. On behalf of the Duke faculty and trustees, I welcome you to the 162nd commencement observed at this institution. We are delighted that you could all be here to share the joy of this day and celebrate the achievement of the class of 2014. Graduates, in a few minutes, you are going to gain a distinguished title that will stay with you your whole life. Everywhere you go, you will be a graduate of Duke University. You earned this title by hard work, determination, perseverance despite obstacles in your path. But we know you also owe a debt to the many people who helped you and supported you along the way. Family and friends, your teachers from your whole life, your teachers at this university, today I want to be mindful of everyone who made your degree possible. Duke is proud of its alumni and their service and contributions to the world, and we know that you will live up to the high standards set by others as you take your place among them. Now, each year, Duke holds a competitive process to select one graduating student from any school to speak at commencement. This year's student speaker is Jennifer Sherman. Jenny came to Duke from Bay Village, Ohio. While at Duke, she's been a research assistant in psychology and neuroscience, has worked with refugee families in Nepal and Jordan, and has co-directed a tutoring program for the children of refugees living in Durham. She graduates today with a Bachelor of Arts in Cultural Anthropology and with a minor in Theater Studies. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer Sherman.
I'm going to trust you with the truth today. I'm afraid. There's the small fear I feel standing up here in front of all of you. And then there's the fear of leaving, of not knowing what this next chapter is going to look like. In case anyone else was freaking out a little bit, I just wanted you to know you're not alone. I also feel this ache in my heart. The good kind. Suddenly, I'm noticing all these little things about this place, things I've been loving all along without even knowing it. Duke really is an extraordinary place. Before we came here, we dreamed about it. You remember that? We wondered what it would be like, and now we know. Today, we are celebrating this extraordinary education. The opportunities we fought for, the ones that fell into our laps, the late nights, the epiphanies, and that thesis finally complete. We celebrate the moments we got to stand up and defend our research, when we showed our command of new languages and complex theories, when we moved an audience from the stage, played the game of a lifetime, or fiercely debated our country's policies. The moments all eyes were on us. The moments we were special. But this is not the whole story. We didn't just go to school for 2 or 4 or 6 years. We lived. there is this whole other education that has been running parallel to the one we recognize today. And it doesn't come with a degree or high honors or a job offer, but it deserves to be celebrated. This education was ordinary. It happened in everyday moments when we weren't being particularly brilliant or talented. For me, it happened in the first snowfall of my freshman year at Duke. I remember East Campus suddenly coming to life, people flooding out of their dorms and gathering on the quad, making snow angels in the half-inch of snow, and building tiny snowmen. I remember people who had never seen snow before crying tears of joy. This was back when we liked snow, everyone, yeah. I grew up with feet of snow every winter, but somehow I felt that joy. My ordinary education happened when I spent so much time in Grace's Cafe my junior year that now it's comforting to hear John behind the counter saying, "1 bubble tea, please." This education happened when we failed. We were weak. We slept too late. We let that kind professor down. We were rejected. We didn't apply for that fellowship or job because we thought maybe we just weren't good enough. It happened when we fell in love. When we didn't do the paper because our best friend asked us to stay and talk through something hard. When everyone was going somewhere amazing for spring break or spending the summer doing research, and we went home to watch our siblings grow up and our parents grow older. At Duke, we have learned from extraordinary and ordinary moments. I think the ordinary ones are more important. Yes, we have been learning to innovate and inspire, to analyze and investigate, but we have also been learning to tell the truth, to take responsibility for our mistakes, to be present with grief, and to forgive. We have been learning to be grown-ups. We've been learning to be human. You know, one of the first things I did as a Duke student was listen to Maya Angelou give the convocation address in the chapel. And I remember her telling us to carry around poems, write them down on pieces of paper and put them in our bags or pockets. And that first week of school, I did. Because, I thought, Maya Angelou tells you to do something. You do it. So I spent that first week of school with a single line written on a scrap of paper in the front pocket of my backpack. It's from the Roman philosopher Terentius, and Maya Angelou had made it the focus of her speech that year. I am a human being. Nothing that is human can be alien to me. It stayed with me through all that Duke would have to offer me, through the extraordinary dream-come-true moments and the ordinary successes and failures that happen every day. When I was doing research in Nepal, I repeated it over and over again when I felt lost in a sea of people who seemed so different. And I remembered it with a jolt when I walked into the Office of Counseling and Psychological Services for the first time. Duke has taught me there is nothing in the range of human experience that is off limits. You may encounter yourself in a foreign way of life, and you may encounter the foreign in your own mind. Our greatest gifts are not the things that make us extraordinary. Our greatest gifts are the things that make us human. Our flaws and our vulnerabilities help us to connect, to understand, and to live in pursuit of justice for others. When we fail, we give others the chance to treat our humanness with grace and compassion. When we lose people, it's the ordinary things that become precious. A drive to the airport, a late-night conversation. As we say goodbye to Duke, I hope we will be grateful for our two educations, the one that earned us our degree and the one that taught us how to be human. I hope we will think back with love on our triumphs and our failures, and the people who showed us kindness through both. Congratulations, class of 2014. You lived with joy, you learned with patience, and with every passing ordinary day, you made Duke extraordinary.
When Jenny was walking to the microphone, somebody over here yelled, "We're proud of you, Jenny." But I think we couldn't be prouder now. What a great talk. I'm now pleased to call to the podium the chair of the Board of Trustees, Mr. David M. Rubenstein. Chair Rubenstein is co-founder and CEO of the Carlyle Group, one of the world's largest private equity firms. A philanthropist based in Washington, he's the chairman of the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, a region of the Smithsonian, and a member of the board of the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. He attended Duke on an academic scholarship and believes in giving back to open the doors of opportunity to future generations of students. Elected to the Duke Board of Trustees in 2005, he currently serves as chair. David Rubenstein.
Mr. President, it is my pleasure and privilege as chair of the Board of Trustees of Duke University to declare that this convocation is now open for the conferring of honorary degrees. The candidates for honorary degrees have been approved by the faculty of the university and by the Board of Trustees. Each will be accompanied by a faculty sponsor.
Among the honors bestowed by universities, few have the symbolic importance that attach to an honorary degree. Honorary degrees are given to recognize achievements and contributions to society of the most superlative order. The individuals we honor today have made extraordinary contributions to our times, and Duke lifts them up as inspiring examples for you and what you could be. They are illustrations of men and women who've taken their particular gifts and found out how to develop them so as to give the most benefit to the life of our times. I now invite Kathy France, the Alexander F. Haymeyer Associate Professor of Chemistry, to accompany to the podium our first candidate, Professor Carolyn Bertozzi, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. Are you going to stand here while I'm embarrassed? Okay. Carolyn Bertozzi grew up immersed in a world of science. Her father is a nuclear physicist at MIT, and she and her two sisters thought they would be too. But as a sophomore at Harvard, she discovered the thrill of organic chemistry. She explains, "I wouldn't go out on weekends because I just wanted to read the book and see if I could work the problems." This is not totally compatible with the fact, not in my script, that you were also the leader of a rock band when you were in college. That intense curiosity led Carolyn Bertozzi to a PhD in chemistry at the University of California, Berkeley, and after a postdoc, she joined the faculty there in 1996. Today, she is the T.Z. and Irmgard Chu Distinguished Professor of Chemistry and an investigator of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. Her research seeks to understand the way sugars on the surface of our cells enable cells to communicate with one another, discoveries that have implications for diagnosing and treating many diseases from TB to cancer. Professor Bertozzi was the first woman ever to win the Lemelson MIT Prize, and she was one of the youngest recipients ever of the MacArthur Foundation Fellowship, more commonly known as the Genius Grant. But she is keener to enable others than to win recognition for herself. When this distinguished scientist teaches introductory chemistry to non-majors at Berkeley, she says her goal is, quote, "to recapture in each lecture the thrill I felt when it was revealed to me that molecules are as diverse as human beings." Judging by her teaching prizes, it is plain that she succeeds. for making visible the excitement of scientific discovery, and for sharing it so compellingly with others, Duke is pleased to present Carolyn Bertozzi with the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. We thought it would be a little more fun if we improvised. There we go. There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I now invite Professor Joel Fleischman, Professor of Law and Public Policy, to accompany to the podium the next candidate, Erskine B. Bowles, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Laws. Then the last one. Erskine Bowles is a North Carolina businessman and statesman who has also become a much admired national leader. Having trained in finance in the private sector, he brought keen business sense and practical wisdom to 3 high-profile jobs in the public sector and has given us a model of what an active citizen can be. As Chief of Staff at the White House under President Bill Clinton, Erskine Bowles helped to negotiate the first balanced federal budget in a generation. Later, he stepped into a new world as the president of the University of North Carolina system. A quick study, Bowles became a powerful advocate for higher education, and his management skills helped guide the university through the economic downturn. In 2010, along with Republican former Senator Alan Simpson, Erskine Bowles answered the call of duty again, this time to lead President Obama's National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform. The Simpson-Bowles plan offered a balanced proposal to reduce the federal deficit by nearly $4 trillion in order to protect the economic future of us all. This was a bipartisan plan that was not adopted yet, but that continues to set the debate about one of this country's great unsolved problems. In appreciation for your public service and the way you have shown the role of business intelligence in addressing the challenges of civic life, Duke University is proud to present this Tar Heel, Erskine Bowles, with the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. He looks good in blue. I now invite Professor Michael Platt, Professor of Neurobiology, to accompany to the podium the next candidate, Susan Hockfield, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Hello.
My friend.
As a child, Susan Hockfield thought she wanted to become a doctor. In college at the University of Rochester, she majored in biology and assumed she would go to medical school. But a summer job in a lab made her realize that research was even more intellectually appealing. Quote, "It was the thing I was looking for, searching for all my life." After earning her PhD from Georgetown in 1979, Susan Hockfield was well positioned to make an impact in the emerging field of neuroscience. For 2 decades on the faculty of Yale, she did path-breaking research on gliomas, a deadly form of brain cancer. But then her career took on a new shape as her leadership skills began to be recognized. She left her lab to assume increasingly important responsibilities at Yale, first as dean of the graduate school and then as provost. In 2004, Susan Hockfield was named the 16th president of MIT, the first woman to ever hold that position, and in perhaps an even greater jolt to that institution, the first life scientist to do so. In her 8 years of that job, Susan Hockfield developed international programs, expanded opportunities for women, encouraged collaboration across disciplines, and became one of this nation's most effective spokespersons for the importance of basic and advanced university research for innovation and economic development. In recognition of your far-reaching work as a scientist and as a leader in higher education, it is my privilege to award Susan Hockfield the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Susan Hockfield. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I now invite Henry Petrosky, the Alexander Visick Professor of Civil Engineering, to accompany to the podium the next candidate, Walter Isaacson, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you, Mr. President.
There you are again. Whoops. Put it there. After graduating from Harvard and attending Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar, Walter Isaacson found his first career in journalism. He wrote and edited for Time magazine before becoming editor of the magazine in 1996, and he later rose to become the chairman and CEO of CNN. But he always had a second career as well, which consisted of following his passionate curiosity and reaching a broad readership as an independent scholar. In the mid-1980s, he and a co-author spent a year at Duke researching what would become his first book, The Wise Men, A History of the Makers of Modern Foreign Policy. Since then, he's found his special theme in writing about inventors and the history of modern innovation. His lives of Einstein, Benjamin Franklin have reached very large publics and informed them about minds that changed the world. When Steve Jobs called him after Jobs' cancer diagnosis and invited him to write the authorized biography, the result won national acclaim, broke all sales records for a biography, and became arguably the single most interesting and revealing work about the role of innovative intelligence in shaping modern culture. Tomorrow, Walter Isaacson will deliver the Jefferson Lecture for the National Endowment for the Humanities, the federal government's highest honor for achievement in the humanities. In admiration for your ardent curiosity and your passion for communicating the fruits of inquiry, Duke is pleased to present Walter Isaacson with the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Walter Isaacson.
Well, congratulations. Good. Very nice. Now I feel like I'm in the community of educated men and women.
Educated at last. I now invite Gary Bennett, Professor of Psychology and Neuroscience, to accompany to the podium the next candidate, Dr. W. Delano Merriweather, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. We meet again. Last year, Duke University commemorated a significant milestone in its history, the 50th anniversary of the enrollment of the first black students at Duke. In a powerful year of remembrance and reflection, we learned the stories of remarkable pioneers, including the first African American to be accepted into Duke University School of Medicine, Delano Merriweather. When Duke's doors opened in 1963, Delano seized the opportunity, excelled at his studies, and graduated with honors. Drawn to medical research, he specialized in hematology and published papers on leukemia while working at the National Institute of Health. In 1973, he was first introduced to public service as a White House Fellow. That exposure would shape the rest of his career as he served as director of the National Influenza Immunization Program, worked as a medical missionary in Africa for 8 years at the heart of apartheid, and established a foundation to improve global health and agriculture in southern Africa. Delano Merriweather was also a pioneer of another sort as a track star. At the unlikely age of 27 and with no professional coaching, Dr. Merriweather laced up his sneakers and sprinted his way to fame in the history books, winning the 100-yard dash at the AAU championship in both 1971 and 72, and landing himself on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. The pioneering, we talk here about the union of academics and athletics. You might be looking at it here. The pioneering quality this university saw in Delano Merriweather 50 years ago has led him to an extraordinary life, and it is with great pride that we welcome Dr. Merriweather back to Duke and present him with his second Duke degree, the honorary degree, Doctor of Science. Delano Merriweather.
Good. Very good.
Thanks. I now have the great pleasure of introducing our commencement speaker. At a time when the global threats of terrorism, cyber attacks, and nuclear and biological weapons create an international security environment that would have been unimaginable a short time ago, this nation is fortunate to have General Martin Dempsey as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. As the highest-ranking military officer in the United States Armed Forces, he is the principal military advisor to the President, the Secretary of Defense, and the National Security Council. After graduating from West Point, Martin Dempsey began a career that now includes 37 years of military service, taking on increasing levels of responsibility across the United States and the globe, including Deputy Commander and then Acting Commander of the U.S. Central Command and Chief of Staff of the Army. Today, amid constrained military spending, he must find ways to keep our 1.4 million active duty personnel and 850,000 reserves in a state of highly trained readiness. At the same time, this thoughtful leader articulates the importance of character in the military, what is there called the profession of arms, and recently announced a campaign to place renewed focus on military ethics. Last year, with Defense Secretary Leon Panetta, General Dempsey made the historic decision to lift the military's ban on women in combat. General Dempsey emphasized that the change in policy reflected the current reality that he had personally seen in Iraq and suggested that it could help with the military's ongoing problem with sexual harassment and assault. I have to believe, he said, that the more we can treat people equally, the more likely they will be to treat each other equally. It is not surprising that such a deep thinker had a broad education. In the early 80s, the Army sent Martin Dempsey to Duke to pursue a master's degree in English. He has said that this exposure to the liberal arts gave him confidence and helped him communicate more effectively. And maybe more important, he said, it really opened my mind not just to seek, not just to accept, but to seek other ways of thinking about things. Duke would have been honored to present General Dempsey with an honorary degree. However, he has declined to accept any such honors while he holds his current public role. In your case, Marty, we will have to trust that one Duke degree is enough. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker for 2014, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and proud Duke alumnus, General Martin Dempsey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll give it a shot. Thanks. You got that right, Mr. President. I am a proud Duke alumni. And just to get the energy level up here a little bit, how about you join me in the following chant that I wouldn't mind if they could hear it down on Franklin Street. Here we go. Let's go, Duke! 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 All right. Way to go, 2014. You know, I'm a keen observer of my surroundings, and you all look great, honest to God. I mean, normally if I'm at a commencement, there's beach balls. I'm not giving you any ideas here, by the way. Champagne bottles and things flying to and fro. But I really want to mention the folks in the stands around you, those who have given you the opportunity to be here today, the parents and children. We walked around the campus a bit yesterday, and really remarkable to be back, to feel the energy and to feel the love that you all share for and with each other. And so for those of you on the field, how about we give them in the stands a round of applause? You know, I mentioned I'm a keen observer of my surroundings. Some of you in the back may not hear this, but I know that the folks on the stage are aware of the fact that a family of birds has moved into your architecture here. And I think I never did study birds, actually, when I was here. Sometimes I felt like I may have been studying birds, but it turned out to be poetry. But these particular birds appear to me to be Chapel Hill warblers, best known for whining about referees in basketball games. Okay, now that I've got that off my chest, and I know this is probably being live video streamed someplace away from here, let me tell you what I really came here to talk to you about today. First of all, nice job, Jennifer. You have nothing to worry about. Really impressive words. And the most impressive part of it, by the way, was that there was obvious passion behind them. You've set the bar very high here today for anyone that has the misfortune of following you in speaking. Class of 2014, as I said, I really do share in your excitement and in your pride today. You at leaving and me at returning here to Duke. It probably won't surprise you to know that as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, there are things that I've got to do, and then there are things that I get to do. So thank you for the privilege of addressing you here today. It's terrific to see so many international students among the student body. I trust, I hope, I expect that you've formed relationships and friendships that will help us all manage an increasingly complex and in some cases dangerous world. I'm very proud of my Duke education, and I often speak of how it shaped me. I'm also proud of the many friendships I've forged through the years with your professors, with your athletes, with your coaches on the topic of leadership. My compliments to you, the faculty, the coaches, the staff of this wonderful university as another class moves out into the world to carry the Duke brand. And students, how about you join me in a round of applause for your faculty? There's always curious moments that happen just before you give a commencement address, and I try to capture some of them. One of them happened to me last night at dinner. I've famously spoken about getting a C on an English paper that I'd labored over for 6 months and completely unsettled me. You know, somehow I thought effort's really what mattered, and output, didn't have any part to play. But I did have a professor here who made that clear to me. So last night, I'm sitting with him. I think they sat him next to me to taunt me, frankly, but I was sitting next to him. I won't name him because I didn't ask permission to do so, but he sat there for a good bit of the evening encouraging me to write a book. And I said, Professor, you got to be kidding. I'm the guy that when I was your student, you actually asked me to please stop writing your answers and we'll do it orally because I can't stand the way you write. So what goes around comes around. Now he wants me to write a book. Who knew? Got a lot of great leaders on the field today, and some who have already manifested that, some of whom will manifest that. Yesterday, I was privileged, really, to welcome 11 newly commissioned ensigns and lieutenants into the armed forces, our next generation of military leaders. How about you stand up so we can recognize you? And let's not forget, today's Mother's Day. So I also salute those of you who have nursed, nudged, nurtured, and nervously watched these terrific young men and women grow up. You'll still watch them nervously, but thanks for what you've done to bring them to this day in their lives. And again, please join me in a special round of applause for those of you honored with the noble title of Mother. My wife of 38 years and mother of our 3 children, Deanie, is with me here today to celebrate with you. She's the one who keeps me grounded. Following this commencement address, she, along with the editors of the Chronicle, will be grading my work. When I first made Brigadier General 12 years ago, I was a bit, maybe I would describe it as full of myself for making general. And Deanie and I took a trip back to visit some relatives in upstate New York. It happened that I needed gas in the car, and so I pulled into a gas station, and out of the gas station walked one of Deanie's ex-boyfriends to fill the tank full of gas. And so his name was Bobby, great guy. It turned out he also owned the thing, but he was pumping gas, So the gas tank was filled. We got back in the car. We're driving away. I'm kind of flexing, and Deanie said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, you got to feel pretty good about the choice you made those many years ago. Look, Bobby's pumping gas, I'm a general." And she said, "Listen, pal, if I'd have married Bobby, he'd have been the general and you'd have been pumping gas." I'm okay with that. Choose wisely, men and women in the audience. It's 30 years since I stood tall in this stadium and received my master's degree with my wife and 3 children, then aged 5, 4, and 1, looking on approvingly. I'd come to Duke, a confident young Army captain with 8 years of military service, and really with little idea of what would become of me. My Irish Catholic mother worried that I was matriculating at a Methodist university. As the product of a Catholic education in West Point, I'd actually never had to dress myself, and so my wife worried that I would embarrass both of us by dressing too conservatively. And me, I worried about Duke basketball pretty much. That was the sum total of my worries in those days. There were moments, though, when I wasn't sure I would make it through Duke, but instinctively, I knew I had to keep trying and I had to keep learning. Not so much in support of any particular plan I had, but perhaps in support of exactly the opposite of a well-crafted plan, a sense that in my chosen profession, history might actually find me, and that I'd better be ready. Looking back at it, it turns out that those years of the mid-'80s were actually among the most stable of my now 40-year military career. And history did find me about 20 years after I left this beautiful campus. As you prepare to embark on your own careers, you're probably wondering if the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is worried about the future. Well, of course I'm worried about the future. I worry about big nations becoming more aggressive, about little nations developing weapons of mass destruction, about religious extremism and what it creates, about the collapse of governance along the Mideast and North Africa, about criminal networks that move drugs and illegal immigrants and arms to and across our borders. I worry about a pervasive and growing weakness in national and international institutions and structures that have for decades held together our sense of order and well-being. And yet, when I look carefully and thoughtfully at all of this, I see more opportunity than vulnerability. I remain encouraged, not least because of the young men and women that I find poised to lead us. A few things do seem clear to me. We will have to think our way, not bludgeon our way into the future. There will be more options, but also more ambiguity in dealing with the challenges we face. You will need to find, fix, and remain true to your moral compass, or you'll find yourself paralyzed. Now, I don't have time to address each of these, and even if I did, I would be doing you a disservice. You have to find your own way. You leave Duke with the intellectual tools to accomplish whatever lies ahead of you. But that's only half of what you need, and only you can measure the other half. Let me explain. I'm sure you're all familiar with the popular television commercial in which Samuel L. Jackson works hard to convince you to sign up for the Capital One credit card. You've heard it, right? This is the fastest, easiest, most reliable bank card on the planet. It's to drive it into the end zone, knock it out of the ballpark, take it down the lane, slam dunk bank card. And then he asks, what's in your wallet? And by the way, for the parents in the audience having paid for a Duke tuition for the past 4 years, I know the answer to that. But after 4 years of hard work, you young men and women on the field have, in fact, crossed your academic goal line. You've hit it out of the park. You've taken it to the rack and thrown it down with a vengeance that would rock Cameron Indoor Stadium. But what's in your heart? You're all going to lead something. The Duke graduate is a leader of consequence, the university's pamphlet proclaims. I know your resume, but what's in your heart? My real worry is that you and some of your peers across the country won't confront that question. You'll quickly become too busy to give each moment the value it deserves, too driven to lead personally, too confident to be inquisitive, too certain to be approachable. I had a mentor suggest to me once that from time to time I ought to ask myself a very simple question. When is the last time I allowed someone to change my mind about something? The more responsibility you get, the more important that question becomes. So let me be clear. America needs you. It needs each of you if it hopes to remain what it is and what it needs to be. We are and have it within us to remain exceptional. But you've got to make this wonderful education you've just consumed matter. Make it matter. On my desk in the Pentagon sits a small wooden box, and in it are 129 small laminated cards. And on each card is a picture of a soldier that I've lost under my command in Baghdad in 2003 and 2004. And I carry 3 others in my pocket at all times. On that box in the Pentagon on my desk are 3 simple words: make it matter. Someone once told me that hope is not a method. Nevertheless, here's what I hope for you on this important day. I hope you believe in yourselves as much as we sitting up here and those sitting around you believe in you. I hope you believe in each other. The class of 2014 really could be extraordinary. I hope you genuinely believe in the greatness and in the exceptionalism of this country. Encourage it, criticize it, participate in it, but above all, believe in it. I hope you understand and believe in action over admiration. The Duke pamphlet is right. We need leaders of consequence. No mediocrity, no bystanders, no ambivalence. Both by your own work and by your family sacrifices, you've been given the greatest gift of all, an education. Make it matter. It's sunset right now in Afghanistan. Thousands of young men and women your age are either completing their day's work or just about to begin it. They do what they do because they trust each other and because they sense that they should give something back for the opportunities that they enjoy in this country. So they put on their rucksacks, they march out of their base camps and into an uncertain future. That's their way of making it matter. I hope you find your own. And now I'm reminded of the baseball manager and what he said to the pitcher during a late inning visit to the mound. The manager says, "Time to hit the shower." Pitcher, "I'm not tired." Manager, "Maybe not, but the outfielders are." So I'll end by channeling young Jenny up here. She congratulated you on an education well-earned and a life, to this point, well-lived. I add to that my hope that you make it matter. Good luck, Godspeed, and fight, Blue Devils, fight. Thank you.
General Dempsey, on behalf of us all, I thank you for those amazing words. We will be searching out Bobby and give him the honorary degree you declined.
Mr. President, as Chief Academic Officer of the University, I have the honor of declaring this convocation now open for the awarding of earned degrees. As they are called, I invite the deans of the schools and the college to present the candidates and their degree marshals. I now call upon Paula McLean, Dean of the Graduate School.
Will the candidates for the graduate school please rise and the degree marshals come forward? Mr. President, I am honored to present the theoretically grounded and analytically sophisticated women and men of the graduate school who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, our highest academic honor, Master of Science, Master of Arts in Teaching, and Master of Fine Arts, and whose names appear in the printed program.
The highest purpose of the university is to train the minds of those who seek to widen the boundaries of human understanding and will become future scholars for our nation and our world. By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the graduate school and welcome you to the company of those engaged in the continuing search for knowledge. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Dean Nancy Andrews, Dean of the School of Medicine.
Will the candidates for the School of Medicine please rise and the degree marshals come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the dedicated and compassionate women and men from the School of Medicine who have been approved by the faculty as having completed the requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Master of Health Sciences, Master of Health Sciences in Clinical Research, and Master of Biostatistics, and whose names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the School of Medicine and welcome you to the company of those dedicated to the care of human life and health. Congratulations.
Rowdy graduates, please be seated.
Among the Doctor of Medicine degree recipients, I would like to call your attention to a unique group of scholars who have completed a combined doctoral degree, Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy. The time and dedication required to succeed in this endeavor makes these students extraordinarily well qualified to make an impact in protecting the health of individuals and communities. I ask this group to stand so that we can show a regard for their remarkable accomplishment. Well, there's one of them. I told you they were rare.
I now call on David Levy, Dean of the Law School.
Will the candidates for the School of Law please rise and the degree marshal come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the judicious men and women of the School of Law who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Juridical Science, Juris Doctor, Master of Laws, and Master of Laws in Law and Entrepreneurship. I'm particularly proud to present Duke's first candidates for the new degree of Master of Judicial Studies. Their names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the School of Law and welcome you to the company of those committed to the pursuit of truth and justice. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Richard B. Hayes, Dean of the Divinity School.
Will the candidates for the Divinity School please rise and the degree marshals come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the spirited and inspirational men and women of the Divinity School, many of whom have other responsibilities on this Sunday morning, who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Theology, Master of Theology, Master of Divinity, Master of Theological Studies, and Master of Arts in Christian Studies, and whose names appear in the printed program. I'm especially proud to present also Duke's first candidates for the new degrees of Doctor of Ministry and Master of Arts in Christian Practice.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Divinity School and salute you as you embark on your vocations in service to your high calling. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Catherine Gillis, Dean of the School of Nursing.
Will the candidates for the School of Nursing please rise and the degree marshals come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you the men and women of the School of Nursing, those who care and those who discover. They have been approved by the faculty and have completed all of the requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Nursing Science, Master of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and their names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the School of Nursing and welcome you to the company of those who apply their knowledge and compassion to provide skillful care. Congratulations.
Before the graduates are seated, I would like to acknowledge the extraordinary leadership and contributions of Catherine Gillis, who is stepping down this year after 10 years of service as Dean of the School of Nursing. Thank you, Dean Gillis. Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Bill Bolding, Dean of the Fuqua School of Business.
Will the candidates for the Fuqua School of Business please rise and the degree marshals come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the consequential men and women of the Fuqua School of Business who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Management Studies, and Master of Management in Clinical Informatics, and whose names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the School of Business and welcome you to the work of building our economic future through thoughtful and responsible management. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Bill Shamides, Dean of the Nicholas School of the Environment.
Will the candidates from the Nicholas School of the Environment please rise and the degree marshal come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the great graduating Gaian guardians for our green and blue planet, the men and women from the Nicholas School of the Environment who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Forestry and Master of Environmental Management, and whose names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Nicholas School of the Environment and welcome you to the work of understanding and protecting the natural world. Congratulations.
Again, before the graduates are seated, I would like to acknowledge and thank Bill Shamides, who is stepping down as Dean of the Nicholas School of the Environment after 7 years of leading the Nicholas School to new heights of teaching, research, and policy work. Dean Shamides. I now call on Crowley Brownell, Dean of the Sanford School of Public Policy.
Will the candidates for the Sanford School of Public Policy please rise and the degree marshals come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the innovative and inspired men and women of the Sanford School of Public Policy who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of International Development Policy and Master of Public Policy, and whose names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Sanford School of Public Policy and welcome you to the company of those who seek to transform ideas into policies for our greater collective good. Congratulations.
Graduates, you may be seated. I now call upon Tom Katsouleas, Dean of the Pratt School of Engineering.
Will the candidates for the Pratt School of Engineering please rise and the degree marshals come forward? Great. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the inventive, engaged, and empowered men and women of the Pratt School of Engineering who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degrees of Masters of Engineering Management, Master of Engineering, and Bachelor of Science in Engineering, and whose names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Pratt School of Engineering and welcome you as you join those pioneering new paths for technology. Congratulations.
Extremely rowdy graduates, please be seated. And now, last but not least, I call on Lori Patton, Dean of the Arts and Sciences. I would like to also note with great pleasure the inclusion of my stepson among the graduates of the class of 2014.
Will the candidates for the Trinity College of Arts and Sciences please rise? And the degree marshals come forward. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the extremely excited and exceptionally talented, enterprising, invigorated, and invigorating men and women of Trinity College who have been approved by the faculty as having completed all requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Arts, and whose names appear in the printed program.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in Trinity College of Arts and Sciences and welcome you to the company of educated men and women. Congratulations. Graduates, please be seated. The ceremony is about to come to its end, but first I hope you will allow me to say a few final words. First, I would like to salute our provost, Peter Lang. Peter, come up for a minute. For his visionary leadership for the past 15 years as Duke's chief academic officer. The world has not a better provost to see than this person has been, and Peter, Duke University thanks you. To parents and families and friends who've traveled from near and far to join our celebration, it has been a privilege to have your students among us, and we share your pride in their achievement. I know they want to thank you for your love and encouragement that brought them here and made this day possible. And let me too take note of the fact that today is Mother's Day, and I too would like to recognize all mothers who are here, as well as all who have fulfilled a mothering role, and express our appreciation for your support for our graduates. To Duke's faculty and staff, I thank you for being the teachers, advisors, mentors, and friends of these graduates. Through your work every day, you have created the intellectual community that has made their growth possible. Thank you. And to the graduates, the Duke University class of 2014, you have left our university even better than when you arrived, and I thank you. Duke has equipped you with the skills and training you'll need to make your way in the world and to make your corner of the world a more just and humane place. I hope Duke has given you a glimpse of the person you are meant to be. Our work is done, yours is now beginning. We're proud of you today, and we can't wait to see how proud you will make us in years to come. Congratulations to you all. As we conclude these commencement exercises, I would remind you of the special ceremonies of the various schools, departments, and programs that follow. Now would you please rise and vociferously sing the Alma Mater.
Dear old Duke, thy name we'll sing. To thee our voices raise, we'll raise. To thee our anthems ring in everlasting praise. And though on life's broad sea
on your way, Cyrus. Good. Good. We've got. Tell me.